talk about some music, talk about audio. We're up here in the top floor of Roswell Park. And yeah, we're just going to have a conversation, so let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Hey, Tom, could you talk to me about your relationship to sound? Like, as I was coming over here, I was trying to think, what is the earliest sound that I remember? And
Wow,
I really couldn't come up with it. And that may be too tricky of a question.
Yeah, pulling back into those early memories, it's got to be something ambient, maybe even weird stuff like appliances or, your mother's voice or something.
Right.
Because some people claim to hear things in the womb, so it's going to be maybe some music that their mother was listening to or just the sounds.
Right.
I don't really have any memories like that. But I would say early on, cartoons, music. Used to watch weird Looney Tunes, and it had all these orchestral scores and just a lot of early TV, just kind of as a toddler. And then there was music around the house and just ambient sounds.
Was anyone in your family a musician?
My father does. He plays the guitar. He plays piano. He sings. He was into country a lot. Plays a lot of blues, little rock and roll. And he runs an open mic in Boston, New York. It's going on 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he's semi-pro with it. He loves it, but he just kind of has a good time.
And have you ever performed at his club?
Yeah, I go there once in a while. They run it every Thursday, or they try to. Sometimes there's off if there's weather. Or sometimes they'll do it acoustic, but sometimes it's full band as well.
Right.
But yeah, he kind of got me going a little bit. But I've always kind of done my own thing with it too, as well.
Right. So what's kind of been your musical path?
Well, I was always kind of drawn to soul music. Anything that feels like it's very spiritually induced. Sounds like it's coming from somewhere meaningful. And that could be any style, any genre, really. I found that any genre, if it's done in a way, will hit me. It tends to be something organic.
So maybe the first thing that hit you was kind of soul music, gospel music.
Sure.
Could you talk about how you integrated that type of music into your work, or how it fed you?
It's just woven in every single way, because the world I live in, classical, jazz, gospel is all woven together. They use the same sounds, they use the same piano keys, same hands, same voices, same instruments. So it's just stylistic at a certain level, but at another level it's all one, And for me it could, the balance between secular and, church is kind of blurred.
And what would you describe the music that you make now and the music that you made, let's say 5-10 years ago?
A little more patient, a little more spacious. When I was younger, I was trying to do progressive things and be busy and exercise. And now I would say it's more of a ambient, a little bit more immersive, striving to let things breathe, I think a lot of musicians go through that. They come out and they're building up their technicality, and then maybe they're trying to say something more in depth once they get into it, Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at, just kind of spacing out, being more patient, not trying to say everything in 1 minute.
Does your music have lyrics?
Yeah, that's kind of my final frontier. I came up as an instrumentalist, and now I'm trying to get my singing together and my diction, my storytelling. And I have immersed myself in vocal teachers and proper singers and people who have really been doing it, and they just have a lot of good suggestions. So the band I'm in now has 2 vocal teachers in it, so I'm kind of using that as some leverage to build a new skill.
Are there lyrics you're working on now?
I've always written lyrics. I've
Okay.
always, whether it be a phone memo or just written it on paper, little file here, little file there, little diary of just ideas. Some of them become songs, some of them just sit. But I've always written lyrics, I've always written words.
Could you recite, if you feel like it, could you recite some of your lyrics?
Well, okay, so my band now, we're working on this tune. It's called Alphabet. And it's kind of about meeting someone new. Maybe they speak your language, maybe they don't. But, all right, some of the lyrics here, I'll actually pull them up to make sure I don't paraphrase. So for instance, some of these lyrics, we have, verse 1 is like, energy flowing within without us, the joy we feel in a duet, the beauty and the chance that we have met. So you meet someone new. If you are who you say you are, the letters playing hard to get, well, I'd better learn your alphabet. So it could be syntax, it could be colloquial dialect, whatever it is, So I kind of just play with themes like that. That's the latest tune we're working on, so I just thought I'd throw that in there. But those are lyrics I had since probably 21, maybe 2019, something like that, and then they just kind of sat. And then I met these singers. I'm like, okay, we got to put this together, And this is for a project called Kamambo. It's kind of this funk ensemble I'm working on in Buffalo. And that's K''Mambo with a little swoosh. And that's a long story, but it's a big band. There's horns, there's drums, there's percussion, there's 2 keyboard players, a bunch of singers. And that's going to be fun. We're working on that right now. But yeah, that's kind of, I work on lyrics, I work on music, trying to put it all together. It's all very sonically immersive. Yeah.
And you're also a sound engineer, maybe at the concerts at the Trelf Amador?
Yeah, I worked at the Trelf. I worked at the Trelf for around a year. I started off loading, bringing cases in. Worked some big shows there, some, major peeps. Then slowly got into the engineering. Finally got a gig there as an engineer, running either the monitor board or the live, the front of house. Was a stage tech, so I'd be setting up the mics, help if there was a traveling engineer, they'd be in charge and I would just facilitate. But if it was a local show, I would do everything. And from there, I fell out of that because I wanted to play music. And I kind of went out west and did a bunch of things for a couple of years. And music was kind of dry out there. I was just kind of treading water. And then I came back here during the pandemic to kind of knock the dust off. And then within a few years, I was working at a new venue called the Kaz, which spiritually was like the continuation of the Trelf. They bought all their old equipment when the Trelf closed and started a new venue. And I've been running sound there when I can, and it's been cool. It's a nice room, nice stage, familiar equipment. So yeah, that's the other side of it, is I just do audio, which helps with the music,
Right.
I've always been interested in fidelity and just making sure you can hear everything,
Right. And you've been performing here at Roswell Park Cancer Institute.
Yeah.
In the lobby. Can you tell a little bit how that came about?
It's a funny story. It's I guess it could be longer or shorter, but initially I just was coming here for consultations, and I saw these grand pianos around the building. There's 2 of them downstairs. I love piano. Piano is one of my favorites. I didn't play the main piano in the lobby, but there was another piano in the quiet lobby in the clinical sciences building, and I just kind of rolled the dice and started playing. And within 5 minutes, I had somebody come out and say, hey, you can't play that. It's like, okay, this thing's here. I was a little misleading, but I didn't ask, so I wasn't going to be mean. But I said, hey, can you just get your boss or whoever, maybe we could progress this, But somebody from, the the coordinator for volunteer services came out and we started talking about music. We're talking about Bob Marley. We're talking about all these people, just what we love. And eventually it led to me potentially volunteering as one of the, musicians that kind of hold space in the lobby. And so they kind of gave me an audition, and I just did what you saw. And they knew it was okay, that I could do something. So we did the first session. I think it was an hour. And it's just become a thing. Every time I come here for a treatment, I'll just play. Friday it was 2 hours. Today was an hour. So whatever they have for me, I'll just play. And it's great. It's cathartic for me. It fills the space. I have at least a dozen people at this point have come up and said, this is like, thank you, So I'm just kind of giving the room some ambience and trying to keep it bright, keep it zesty. And so far so good. I've seen people I know, fantastic musicians from Buffalo coming through, and they'll say hi and we'll shake hands, we'll hug. It's been great. And then new musicians I didn't even know about are coming up and just introducing themselves, and they turn out to be fantastic. So it's really cool. It's interesting. It's almost like busking, but it's in this, atrium.
And how's music integrating or not integrating or acoustically affecting your journey with cancer?
Oh, it's totally energizing, and it's totally transmuting all the doubts, and it's just giving me something to think about, something to focus on. And it always has, just throughout life, Whether I'm working a crappy job or I'm bummed out about this, you can just go to music. If you do it, you're familiar with it, it's just cathartic, It's always been that.
Is there anything else you'd like to share? Anything I didn't bring up that you might want to talk about?
Oh, well, just whoever's watching this, if you're a musician or otherwise, just, keep on keeping on, Lots of music out there, lots of concerts, lots of festivals, lots of new projects, even today, I know some people might feel a little buried by the pandemic even still, but let me tell you that there's good things going on, Let's go.